I'm Lydia Buck, and this is my speech, my persuasive speech, and then this is my lovely audience. Including my small child. He's a little bit sensitive today as well, like every other speech I've given. So, I did choose a sensitive topic, so bear with me, everybody. There is no condition more vulnerable than existing as a woman in society. Abortions are a personal choice and should be a preserved medical right for women's health care in order to preserve women's health and gender equality. Abortion is a constitutional right, and it supports their physical, mental health, and their bodily autonomy. And so for my first point, I'm going to be talking about women's constitutional right to abortion and what that does for women's equality. Firstly, what is the constitutional right to abortion? There was 2 Supreme Court cases that gave us our constitutional right to abortion. One we know probably more so than the other as Roe versus Wade, and then the other one is known as Doe versus Bolton, which took place in Georgia. First, we'll talk about Roe versus Wade. Roe versus Wade was targeted a Texas law that prohibited all but life-saving abortions. The Supreme Court nullified this in 1973 on a basis that it was unconstitutional as it interfered with the women's rights to privacy, which included their choice to choosing to terminate their pregnancies. And according to Rebouchet of 2016, this right is a fundamental right to women's life and their futures. To quote Rebouchet of 2016, the refusal to provide reproductive health services that only women need resulted in both direct and indirect gender discrimination. In our lesser known case, Doe versus Bolton, what happened in Georgia, the Supreme Court upset a Georgia law governing abortion. With this law, it banned abortion except for when deemed necessary to save a woman's life and in cases of fetal abnormality and rape. However, that law also came with many restrictions that made it very hard to access these abortions. It required all abortions to be performed in an accredited hospital, which is not widely available. A hospital committee plus 2 doctors, in addition to the woman's own actual physician, had to give her approval before they would proceed. And this was deemed unconstitutional. The Supreme Court ruled that on the grounds that it interfered with a woman's right to choose, and it imposed too many restrictions and challenges regarding trying to get a termination. And now we'll move into talking about abortions as healthcare and their accessibility. Anti-abortion laws make access to safe abortion illegal or nearly impossible, especially for women of low incomes. This leads to many unsafe and dangerous abortions. Anti-laws force women to seek unsafe abortions, and this gives them unnecessary risk of death and other health consequences, and a very high death toll as a result of these unsafe abortions. Earlier this century, 800,000 abortions annually would happen illegally, and those resulted in 8,000 to 17,000 deaths of women. Many others suffered other health consequences, such as uterine perforation, cervical wounds, severe bleeding, infections, gangrene, poisoning, and shock. Legalizing abortions protects the lives of women. According to the ACLU, legalizing removes unnecessary obstacles in seeking abortion care. Dramatic decrease in deaths resulting from abortions as well. In 1991, only 11 women died from legal abortion-related complications. Today, only 1 death occurs in every 160,000 illegal abortions. It's more than just the lives and the health of women. It also protects their equality and their bodily autonomy. Men are largely responsible for deciding what women are allowed to do in society, including their rights to their own bodies. And that includes coming down from the government as well, and their laws and their politics. Currently, 64 million women of reproductive age live in the U.S., about age 15 to 44. 43% of those, which is about 29 million, live in states with high number of abortion restrictions. For an example, we'll use the recently passed bill in the state of Texas. According to a story of 2021 in the New York Times, there are 150 representatives and 31 senators in the government of Texas, and that's 181 seats total. Only 47 of those are held by women, 37 representatives and 10 senators. The recently passed Senate Bill 8 majorly restricted abortions, and the majority vote that passed it was 102 votes, 84 representatives and 18 senators. Of those 102 votes, only 12 were from women. 90 men just revoked Texas women's bodily autonomy by deciding their rights over their own bodies. And what is that Senate Bill 8 in Texas? According to a story of the New York Times, it was a bill that was passed that takes away the right of the government and other legal bodies such as law enforcement of the state to pursue women for getting an abortion. And instead it placed the power to seek consequences of getting an abortion into the power of the people. So now anyone in the state of Texas that believes that you either sought an abortion or helped a woman get an abortion can sue you a minimum amount of $10,000. And that includes the physicians that would perform the abortions for women. And there's hardly any exceptions to the law, which includes, they say that it's accepted for only cases of medical necessity, but they don't really define what that means. So that means that it's still up to the physician to decide if it's necessary, but that also means that they have to provide proof and still fight in court if someone challenges it and tries to sue them for the $10,000 minimum. Oops, I flipped that over, my bad. So now, according to anti-abortion laws, an unborn female fetus has more rights than an adult woman because the female fetus life and body matters more than the life and body of the woman whose womb it occupies. And the inequality is not just in lawmaking, but within the law itself. So it's not just about the majority of men deciding what a woman can or can't do, but it's also the lack of the male role within the laws themselves. Women do not get pregnant on their own, so why are they the only ones penalized for seeking an abortion? They're not the only one and only party involved in the pregnancy. In Texas, now that anyone has the right to sue a woman or the physician's office for providing an abortion, or that they believe they sought an abortion there. In Texas now, a rapist can sue his victim for pursuing an abortion for a pregnancy resulting from his attack. And later, if she does not get an abortion, he can also sue her for parental rights. As you can see, abortion rights promote equality across many fronts for women, especially gender inequality. Accessing abortion allows women to avoid going through any undue burden as a result of pregnancy or impregnation. Accessing abortion can free women from mental distress, from non-viable pregnancies and rape, as well as preserving her health by preventing unsafe abortions. Women deserve their constitutional right to abortion to be protected, and for the Constitution to support their mental health, physical health, and their bodily autonomy. Women face inequality every day of their lives, and their right to abortion should be considered a basic human right. The end. Where's Mom?